Welcome to a SapphireOne demonstration of the General Ledger Inquiry. SapphireOne has 8 distinctive modes in the mode menu. By selecting the Accounts mode, that will drop us into the floating toolbar where we can go into the General Ledger. In the General Ledger, we can go down to the Transaction Inquiries. All the drop-downs always have data entry, inquiry, processing and reporting. Under the Inquiry, we can select the General Ledger. And by selecting the General Ledger, it will bring up a list of all our General Ledger accounts. We can sort any of those by simply just clicking on those headers and it'll go and sort those. So any of those can be sorted. We can swap to what we call a standard inquiry, and we can also swap to a custom inquiry. If we swap to our standard inquiry, we select on the ID again, and we select our first account. We've got the ability to use the toolbar to either modify, or we can look at the particular account. Alternatively, we can double click. Now the double click can be set to double click modify, double click look in the user, and that will be covered under user inquiry. If we go to the General Ledger now, page 1, we've got a drop down up in the top left hand corner now on the toolbar under pages, and the first page is details. And this gives us our account ID, the account name, the company ID. The company ID is 10 alphanumerics, and in the SapphireOne data file we can run as many companies as we like in the General Ledger with unlimited tax jurisdictions and currencies. We've also got department ID, and then we've got the class ID. And then we can set a project setting on a particular General Ledger account, and we can make the account active or inactive. We have a paperclip here which takes us at document management, and we can set a General Ledger account to be set as a bank account. If we come to the more details, in the more details we have a custom class 2, custom class 3 and a custom class 4. We've also got the 3 GL alphas and the 2 user defined fields. So we have more than 10 hierarchical levels within the General Ledger that we can report by. If we come to page 3, which is our balances page, we've got the ability to do a consolidated or select by different levels within the General Ledger. We've also got, we can select a running total, difference or currency depending on if we're running multi-currency. And here we can come down now to the budget screen, and we can go and select the budgets. In this particular case, I've already copied the budgets over from last year into the actual budget, and we can simply hit budget fill and it'll go and fill that if we want to. We can also copy the actual budget, so we can copy here, copy budget to the revised budget and go budget fill, and that'll copy it over. We have the ability to go in and change those percentages if we wish, so we can simply go and change those percentages. Alternatively, we can simply type in an amount, and we can do that within each General Ledger account by period, and we can do that in the original here. So we can go into the original budget, and we can simply go tab here and we can go and type that in. And that's our budgeting by General Ledger page. And then we come down to the loan page. We've got the ability to set a General Ledger bank account or General Ledger account up as a loan. We can give it a loan amount here. We can give it the loan interest, the total payment, the term of the loan, and we can set the repayments, whether monthly or weekly. We've got a term instalment, the last instalment amount, the start, the due, interest on the General Ledger account, and the payment bank account. The next instalment date, and then we can set a recurring transaction. So we want the transaction to recur 7 days before the amount comes out. We can put we can add notes to that particular loan document as well, and then we can add all the various assets that we've purchased. So we may have purchased a series of motor vehicles or earth moving equipment, and they're all sitting under the one loan. And then we come down to analysis. So under the analysis, we can go and look at the analysis. We can compare that with budget if we want, and we've also got the ability to look at last year, and we can go and look at next year as well if we wanted to. And we come down to the next screen. We've got our audit lines. Within the audit lines of the SapphireOne, we've got the ability to go and look at complete history. And in this case, we've got data going back in the Bondi Blue data file all the way back to 2000. Any of those transactions I can drill on, and I can go back to the original source document. We can drill down from the audit lines back to the original source document. I can go and untick that. I can go and select a particular document here, and I can open an inquiry. So I can go and open those transactions up in the original inquiry and go back to the original inquiry from the audit line for that particular audit line for that GL account. If we close out of here now, and we simply green tick that, and we can go back to our general ledger inquiry. Now what we can do is, if we wanted to, we've got the ability to custom modify each one of the inquiry screens. So if I move the class name over here, for example, if I wanted to move the name in front of the ID, if I close out now and we come back into a general ledger inquiry, that'll retain a particular way that if we swap to the custom inquiry now, that it'll retain that. So if I wanted to move that here, and then we want the total to date for the account debit there, for example, and we can save that. So if we close out of there now and we come back in at a later stage, that'll retain what we just moved. So we can customize each inquiry screen, in this case a general ledger inquiry, to our particular needs. Now how do we do that? We simply select the setup, and we can go to the setup and we can select any field within the general ledger table. So here's all our fields that we can go and select for the general ledger table, and we can also use related records as well. So if there's any related fields for example, it may be department, then we could go and look at the related fields for that general ledger department. So it might be the ID, so then we could select that as well. And we've got the ability there to go and select other fields. So we can completely customize that to meet what our particular requirements are. We've also got the ability to then go and export that. And so if we select our export button here, and we come over here and we simply double click here, and we can zoom that out to full screen. So we've got the ability to customize every general ledger inquiry screen, and we can customize any inquiry screen within SapphireOne, and then we've got the ability to also jump back to our standard inquiry screen. We've got a number of options up here. So if, for example, I wanted to show a subset, so if I hold my finger on the control key and I select a number of records, I can come up here to my options and I can go show subset. It'll show a subset of those records. I can go back and show all. It'll show me all my records. I can hold my finger on the shift key and I can select a range of records, and once again I can go show subset. Once again I can go, there's a keyboard command for all those options, so in that case it was Control E, and on the Macintosh it's Command E. So we've got a simple find, so we can do a find and we can find all the general ledger accounts that start with 1 as an example. So there's all my general ledger accounts that start with 1. That's my simple find. I've got an easy query, a detailed query. If I select a detailed query, I have the ability here to select all the fields within the general ledger, and they're sorted alphabetically. And then of course I've got every single table, if I have access to it as a user, within the entire database. And then I can select is not, etc. So I've got a list of criteria that we can go and set here, and we can save these sets. So we can go and save those as a particular query that we use on a regular basis, so we can go and save that query and reopen it. So we can build extremely complex queries within any inquiry screen. Under the options, that's detailed query. We've also got what we call the advanced find. So with the advanced find, we can either sort alphabetically all the fields within the table, or we can choose not to sort them and simply sort them by the way they're created within the SapphireOne application. We can close out of here. We can come back to our options, and we've also got show subset, show the last set, so we can go and select. So for example, if we go and select the records here, that's Control G, which is show subset. We go Control E, which is all the records. And then if we come up here to options, and we go show last set, it'll go and show the last set. We've also got the ability under the options is to save set, so I can go and save that set, and then I can close out of here. I can come back into a general ledger. I can come back to my options and I can load set. So it'll go and reload that. Now it'll keep that save set for as long as you want. So if you've been working in it this morning, you want to come back this afternoon and reload that set, you'll be able to reload that set. Also, you've got show all, omit subset, save set, load set. You've got a range of tools that you've got access to. Those tools will change depending on where we are within the general ledger. So one of the tools, for example, is copy last year's actuals into the budget. So for example, if I went in here and I said show all, let's do that again. Select show all the records, and we go in and select all the records, and then we come up to our tools, which we can also access from our SapphireOne toolbar, and we go copy last year's actuals into budget. I can go and select those records, so we go show all, and we go select, and then I can go here, and we can go to our copy last year's into budget, and we can copy all those in. They're all done now. So if we were to go into that particular general ledger account, for example, and we come down here to the budget, they've all been updated now, so we've copied those, and we've done that for every single general ledger account. Or you may want to just select a subset of accounts that you want to do. So we go here, Control G again, and we go Control A, which is selecting all those records that are on the screen, and then we've got those tools. So example, copy last year's actuals into the budget, copy this year's budget into next year, so we can go and run that tool. The tools will differ depending on the inquiry screen you are. There's literally thousands of tools within the SapphireOne application, depending whether you're in job project, payroll, HR, assets, whatever it may be. So those tools will always vary depending. Now the ones that remain the same are things like quick reports, applied formulas. These are the tools that will always remain static. There's an inbuilt word processor and inbuilt spreadsheet, which we'll cover in other videos, and also a custom report writer. Coming back to the options, we've got hide toolbar as well. We've got a detailed sort. We've got actions, and then you can access a lot, and then there's a global search as well. So thank you for taking the time to watch the introduction video into the general ledger inquiry. Thank you.